Some people don't look old because of time. They look old because they're still carrying things that should have been released years ago. Stress, old fights, silent resentment. And the terrifying part is this: your face reveals it before your mind ever admits it. Someone once stopped me mid-sentence and said, "I thought you were younger." Not as a compliment, as confusion. And that moment unsettled me because I've never tried to slow time, hide age, or chase youth. Yet I began noticing something disturbing. The people who seem untouched by time aren't luckier. They're lighter, less burdened, less fractured inside. Welcome to Stoic Silence Wisdom, a quiet place for those who sense that aging is happening somewhere deeper than the skin. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share may change how you see time itself. And if this kind of reflection speaks to you, consider subscribing to support the channel and help keep this space alive. That question didn't lead me to answers all at once. It led me to patterns. As I kept watching myself and the people around me, I realized this wasn't random. There were specific traits that kept repeating, not theories, not trends, but quiet behaviors that shaped how time showed up on a person's face and energy. The Stoics would have called these signs not secrets, indicators of an inner life either weighed down or kept clean. So instead of asking how people stay young, I began asking something else. What are the few habits that quietly age us? And which ones seem to slow that process down? The first pattern became impossible to ignore. It was stress, not the dramatic kind people talk about, not crisis, not tragedy. It was the quiet, constant tension of living in reaction mode. I saw it in people always bracing for the next problem, replaying conversations, carrying arguments that had already ended. Their faces aged faster, not because life was harsher, but because their minds never rested. No pause, no release. Those who seemed younger weren't free from pressure. They simply refused to wrestle with what they couldn't control. They met difficulty without adding friction. The Stoics warned that an untrained mind exhausts the body, and I've come to believe this. Time doesn't carve the deepest lines into us. Ongoing tension does, slowly, silently, every single day. The second pattern revealed itself more slowly, but once seen, it was unmistakable. It showed up in people who had quietly decided how life should unfold, and grew rigid when it didn't. They spoke often about how things used to be, how things should stay the same, how change felt like a threat instead of a movement. There was a heaviness in that resistance, not anger, stiffness, as if their inner world had stopped stretching. Then there were others who moved differently. They adapted without surrendering themselves. They adjusted without resentment. Change didn't harden them, it kept them awake. The Stoics never promised stability, they taught readiness. And I've noticed this. The more someone fights change, the faster life seems to weigh on them. Flexibility doesn't just protect the mind, it preserves the person carrying it. The third pattern felt almost personal. It appeared in how people handled what they felt. Some carried emotions like unfinished business, unspoken, unresolved, slowly hardening over time. They stayed composed on the surface, but beneath it there was tightness, not strength, accumulation. Others moved through emotion differently. They acknowledged it without dramatizing it. They didn't rehearse pain. They didn't suppress joy. They allowed experiences to pass through instead of settling in. The Stoics valued clarity over control. They understood that what remains unexamined doesn't disappear. It lodges itself deeper. And I've seen this. Emotional honesty, practiced quietly, keeps energy circulating. When feelings are processed rather than buried, the body doesn't have to carry what the mind refuses to face. The fourth pattern became clear after conversations ended. Some interactions left people steady, others left them depleted, needing silence just to feel normal again. It wasn't about disagreement, it wasn't about difficulty, it was about exposure. Certain environments demanded constant explanation, emotional labor, or vigilance. Over time, that demand etched itself into posture and presence. Then there were spaces where nothing had to be defended, where conversations didn't require armor, where energy returned instead of drained away. The Stoics believed our character is shaped by what we repeatedly allow into our lives. Choosing your company carefully isn't isolation, it's preservation. Youth, in this sense, is protected energy, and energy saved today becomes vitality that still shows tomorrow. The final pattern didn't announce itself through action. It arrived as relief. I noticed it in people who had learned to let the past loosen its grip. They didn't erase what happened. They simply stopped carrying it forward, day after day. Regret wasn't rehearsed. Old arguments weren't replayed. Mistakes weren't worn like identities. Others held on tightly, to resentment, to guilt, to stories that no longer served them. And over time, that weight showed, not dramatically, persistently. The Stoics believed harmony appears when we live in accordance with what is present, not what is finished. Letting go isn't loss, it's alignment. Youth, in its quietest form, is a mind no longer crowded by yesterday. All of these patterns point to the same quiet truth. People don't age because time moves forward. They age because too much stays behind. Stress, resistance, unspoken emotion, draining environments, unresolved pasts, all of it settling into the body. Lightness appears when inner weight is released. The deeper lesson is this: youthfulness is not something you chase, it's something you uncover by living with clarity and restraint. To apply it, start small. Choose one burden you no longer need to carry and practice setting it down, calmly, without drama. So here's a simple question for you. What is one thing in your life right now that feels heavier than it needs to be? If you're willing, share your thought in the comments so we can reflect together. And if this way of thinking resonates with you, consider subscribing to support the channel and help Stoic Silence Wisdom continue creating quiet, meaningful work.